to another Mr.Sanemon video. I'm Mr.Sanemon, and today we're going to be going over virus removal and diagnosis, chiefly on Windows XP, but also the majority of this stuff will apply to Windows Vista and Windows 7. However, Windows 8 does not have your standard safe mode, so a lot of this isn't going to apply because I'm going to have to go into safe mode with networking. Now, before you all start wondering how I done this, it's very simple. I done it in a virtual machine right here. I've got myself nice and infected for this video. So don't go downloading viruses intentionally, although it is harder to find than you would imagine. You know, doing it accidentally is one thing, but I guess going in and doing it intentionally is another. So, in this video, we are going to go over the virus removal, and more specifically on Windows XP. We're going to talk about what a virus is, what spyware is, the different types of viruses, and I'm lumping viruses, but it's really just malware, and we'll go over that in a second. And if what you have on your system, is it really considered virus or malware? Some things are just really stupid programs. So, you know, I don't think things like the conduit browser thing, which is basically just a toolbar that it installs in your browser without asking you, I do not think that really classifies as malware. You can uninstall it, you know, easily, and it just, you don't even have to use any tools. So I'm going to be going over how to remove a real big boys virus. Now, so I'm going to do this on a basic, standard, fresh install of Windows XP. I done this about an hour ago and then started looking at viruses. The only thing I've installed, the only program I've installed is Mozilla Firefox. I have not even installed Flash or JavaScript on this, or Java on this. So this is just going to be a plain old Windows XP install. Now imagine you have Grandma. I'm going to teach you Grandma's computer, and she's never updated it once. She's still using all the default stuff, and she's got her virus because she wanted to have those dancing smileys on her desktop or something. That's what we're going to be doing here. That's what we're going to be dealing with here. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and let's take a look at this virus. Let's take a look at this virus. So, I can go down back here to regular size screen. So, let's take a look at the virus. And I'm just going to go ahead and settings, make this a bit bigger. Yeah. So, okay. Here we are. I know I'm doing this in 1080p, so it's a bit weird, but I'm in a virtual machine, so I can't do it in 16:9 resolution. At least I don't think. Let's see. So you can still access properties, and so that means that this virus or this piece of malware is probably not too good. I'm betting it's going to be pretty simple uninstall, or just go ahead and get through it. So the first thing we want to make sure is, can we access the command prompt? Okay, this is kind of not a very good thing here, so we're going to go ahead and exit full screen. I'm going to go over some of the finer details about viruses and such. And if you, I'm going to be doing a couple of things on virtual machines later in the series, but that isn't for a different day. So we're going to go over types of viruses. So types of viruses. Okay. Or really what we're going over is malware. But I call everything a virus. It's my bad, but so don't get on me. I know the difference in practice, but it doesn't matter too much what you're calling it as long as you know how to handle any given situation. So obviously under malware we have viruses. And viruses are, they attach to a program or run and can replicate. So they can replicate is a big one there, and they can attach to the program. Then we have things called rootkits. They attach to the registry and hide from traditional means of detection. Then we have spyware. I believe under this classification is Trojans. So what they do is collect information or provide access to your computer. Then we have adware, and I guess that conduit thing could really be called adware. It advertises a product in a intrusive way. This is usually really easy to uninstall. Sometimes it's very bordering on what's legal, because sometimes it asks, sometimes it doesn't. The conduit bar would probably go under adware, so we'll talk about how to remove that. I've got a piece of adware, and I have what I think is just your regular old virus. I didn't put any worms on here because actually, since my anyway, so we have adware, viruses, rootkits, spyware, and there are more. We have worms, and the reason I didn't install anything that I thought was more malicious is because things like worms can spread over a network. So really, I could actually, even in a virtual machine with a worm, I put my actual environment at risk if they're both connected to the network, and I have poor internal firewall workings, which I do. So, because I think I have my actual Windows firewall turned off, and then my router is pretty much letting a lot of stuff through right now. So, worm's not a good deal. Okay, so now that we know types of viruses, we're going to go back over to my other little window over here. We'll talk about what is a virus. Well, as I said, a virus is anything that you can, acquire on your computer that's going to do something like try to make you buy an antivirus product. Is a common one that they try to show you. Hey, you have viruses, and the actual thing is the virus, and they're like, the creators are, I'm so clever, I'm telling them a way to fix this, and I'm just going to steal their credit card information and whatever. There is another type of attack, and it's called phishing, but that's just a different security thing altogether. So we're not going to talk about that today, because those are usually just websites that you want to avoid. Fake websites. I see a lot of them for, popular websites. So what is a virus? Basically, you download it. It'll prevent access to main components of your computer and try to make you put in credit card information, and then that's what it does. Then it can replicate, usually not over a network, but if you were to say put it on a USB drive, it could automatically start up on someone else's computer. So that's the virus. Spyware, as I mentioned, it will collect information. It can you may not even know it's running. Sometimes I've seen spyware use an excessive amount of memory for absolutely no reason. So spyware is pretty common. As I mentioned, I meant types of malware, so I just went over this, types of malware. And is it really a virus? Well, some programs just are really intrusive and you don't like them, and if you can uninstall it by going to add remove programs, then it's not a virus, it's just an annoying program. And we call this, and it's a relatively new term, but we call it shovelware. I haven't seen it used a lot, but I have seen it come up a lot more recently. And okay, say you go to Best Buy. Okay, you go to Best Buy and you're gonna buy a new computer because you're stupid and you buy computers from Best Buy. I'm just kidding. So you go to Best Buy and you're gonna buy a new computer, and you're gonna buy it, and then Say the manufacturer puts on Microsoft Office and a version of Quicken because you need to do your taxes for, in Quicken for whatever reason, and then they put in a trial version of this and a trial version of that and a Geek Squad app, and all that's called shovelware, and it's annoying and it pops up in your face every time you log in. Sometimes then the kicker is that they'll have you can usually have, and usually you get charged for this if you buy like a brand new computer. They'll charge you to have Geek Squad put all this up there and update your computer, or sometimes I've heard that they may even charge you to take it off of their software you didn't want on your brand new computer in the beginning. So it's a little fishy, but shovelware isn't actually illegal or a virus or anything. So yes, we have shovelware, which isn't technically a type of malware or whatever, but it is an unwanted bit of code on your computer. And over here we have some illustrations. Switch up colors. We have the illustration of the registry. We have an illustration of things that might cause you to get any of these things right here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and go back in and see if this bit of software has prevented us from having access to anything. Okay, so let's try getting into our registry. Now, I do not recommend making a lot of manual changes to this, but you can get to it by going to Run or Start, Run, or Windows R, I think, does it as well. Yeah, Windows R. Typing in regedit and hitting enter. And that is R as in Reginald, or REG as in Reginald, and edit, all one word. Hit enter, and then you have HKey class, HKey current user, HKey local machine, HKey users, HKey current config, all under these little expandy plusy minusy symbols. Okay, if it's not making any changes here, that sort of makes me think, or if it's letting me access that, it's sort of making me think, hey, this isn't very good at what it's doing. It's just up there, I can't get rid of it. Oops, that would be the wrong bit of command. How do I get to my task manager? There we go. Trying to get to my task manager, but I can't because it's a virtual machine. So over here, we have processes. Let's see, can we? And then the first thing you always want to do is just see, hey, can I end the process? And it terminated the process. So what else do we have? We have WinAPI being run by Mr.Sanemon. It's using 98% of the virtual CPU. Not a very good thing. Let's see, can I end this one? Okay. So, the first thing you're going to want to do is see if they start coming back up. And you can do that and just seeing if they're going to start coming back up. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to make this smaller, and then we're going to have this go ahead and turn off, restart, and then we're going to see if it gets back up the second that I restart it. Okay. And it's going to ask me if I want to run WinAPI, so let's say why not. Why not, we say. Why not? Optimizer Pro. Oh my goodness, would you like to clean? No, I don't want to optimize my PC. Oh my. Okay, well this is actually Windows security system. I don't actually have any virus protection on this computer. So when we're done, we will show you how to actually go through and let's see. Since it doesn't appear to be stopping us from doing anything, we're not going to need to go into safe mode. So what we're going to do is, if you can't, you know what, actually I think I might go into safe mode with networking just to show you how we do that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to turn off computer, restart, and logging off. It's going to get small in a second, and we're going to, I believe it's F8. F8. F8, F8, F8. Okay, safe mode with networking. See that right here? Safe mode with networking. Okay. Okay. It's going to just tell you that it's running in safe mode. And what safe mode is, it's a very basic Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows Vista. Not in Windows 8. There's a different thing in Windows 8 that I'm not too familiar with, but it's a very basic version of the operating system with only the Windows drivers. So you're not going to have your fancy NVIDIA video card drivers. You're going to have Windows video card drivers, Windows drivers for everything. Just standard, basic, default. And no other programs are going to load in startup. It's just going to say no to everything in startup. So we're going to go Firefox. And you do that by pressing F8 during the Windows startup. Just mash it repeatedly. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go, we're going to get super anti-spyware. If you're doing this at grandma's house, I recommend just bringing it all on a USB key. And yes, this looks fake. It really does. But it's not. It's a very good tool. Okay. So we're going to run the scan. If it looks like it's going to take more than a couple of minutes, I'm going to pause the video, come back to it, waiting for it to download. So the other thing we're going to need is I'm going to go ahead and open this up, run it, express install. I think maybe it adds a toolbar or something. Start trial. Pro tip: never go with an express install. Anyway, let's go ahead and go over here, scan your computer, start complete scan, and then we're going to have it go over here. Okay, so let's go over the objectives when you're doing a virus removal. Okay. So, we have some objectives. The first is to diagnose the problem. Okay, pretty simple. Fix all issues. Restore OS stability. So sometimes you're going to be poking holes in the registry. You want to make sure that you get everything working in order. If you have to go back through and manually edit the registry, that's what you got to do. Alternatively, and before you even fix the issues, there's something you want to do. We're not going to do it today because I have done nothing to this operating system, but make a backup. Fix all issues. Delete all restore points. This is only after you've restored the stability and everything's working. Make a backup. Okay, so you're going to make a backup before you even start. Okay, after that, install all Windows Essential updates. Install antivirus. Update browser. Delete temp files and just general tune-up stuff. Okay, so these are our objectives. You can make notes of this, pause the video if you need to. Okay, so I'm just going to go through and talk about why we need to do each of these things. And let's go ahead and back over here for a second just to see. Okay. So, first of all, why do we want to diagnose the problem? Okay, that's what we're doing right now. We're and then we're first we're going to talk about how you do it, and then we're going to talk about why you do it. So how you do it, well, tool software, your tools, right? So that's what we're doing right now. Super anti-spyware. So let's go over some tools for that. Super anti-spyware, Kaspersky, Malwarebytes, CCleaner, and you can just go on with a couple of other ones, but those are going to be your big ones. Is just Super anti-spyware, Kaspersky, and Malwarebytes. Now, if you happen to have a Linux Utilities boot disk with you, and I can't remember any of them right off the top of my head, but Kaspersky has a boot disk, then you can use the tools on that. But if you're just going to boot into safe mode, then these are a couple of good tools to use. Okay, so here are your tools for diagnosis. Make a backup. What you're going to do is we're going to save registry. We're going to zip, well, we don't have to, but you can zip essential files, Carbonite, that sort of stuff. Okay, then we're going to fix the issues. Most of these tools can fix the issues, so a lot of these tools are also going to be able to fix them. In fact, all of the ones that I listed can do this and can do this. We're going to restore OS stability, and that's going to be, you know, using the backup over here if you need to, use any backed up files, and cleaning the registry. So just, you know, regedit. This mouse sucks so hard. Edit. Okay. Then we're going to delete all restore points. We're going to make another backup. Save the registry somewhere. If you just save that registry, then it'll reload all of the things in the registry, and anything that's not there is going to go away. So just reload the registry, and you can save yourself a lot of time in the future by taking a clean working version of the registry and just using that. So not version of the registry, but you know, you can save the registry into a file. We're going to install all updates. That should be fairly obvious. We're just going to use the Windows Update tool. Install antivirus. So, when we install antivirus, I'm getting tired of this color. We're going to use one of these tools. Okay. Microsoft Essentials, Security Essentials. AVG. There are a couple of others. I think Komodo is still around. And then there are a couple of other good ones. I mean, Security Essentials is probably the one that I recommend just because it's Microsoft and people are like, oh, this is definitely official, you know. We're going to update the browser. In fact, if you're working on your grandma's computer, I would recommend letting her stick with Internet Explorer if that's what she's used to. Unless, you know, it's going to be like from Internet Explorer 6 to 10, then it doesn't matter what she's using because she's not going to understand it to begin with. So, if that's the case, I recommend, and I recommend doing something this, because your grandmother's not going to want to deal with the instability of certain Chrome releases and Chrome updates, so sometimes it's good, sometimes it's eh. So I recommend going with Chrome. That's my personal preference. You can do Firefox. Either way, this next one's going to work. Adblock Plus. The reason I stick with Adblock Plus, the reason that it gets a big smiley, just a magnificent, is because it's going to prevent further infection, because if they can't click on the smiley ad to install all the smileys, then it's just going to make things cleaner and work better. I recommend Adblock Plus, and that would be my biggest recommendation on the browser side of things. Deleting temp files, you can do this through the browser or using CCleaner. And then just doing a general tune-up. To do a general tune-up, oh, that's a straight line. Oh, that was so good. Sorry. A general tune-up would be going through and again making sure the registry is in line. So your tune-up's going to be deleting unused programs, cleaning desktop, removing things from startup, that sort of stuff. So go through and do that. So, not too difficult. Okay. So now that we have our threats detected on Super Anti-Spyware, go ahead and view, switch to full screen, and we're going to go ahead and click continue. Remove all these threats. Wait, no. Potentially unwanted programs and settings. Remove threats. And then we're just going to reboot it. And that's part of the, this is part of the first thing we're going to do. So I skipped the backup. You don't need to skip the backup. If it's a computer that you use, don't skip it. I did, and that's bad practice, but skipping the backup is not something that you want to do if you're used to using the computer a lot. This is just a virtual machine. I don't have anything to back up. Saving time. Okay. So here we are. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to go into Firefox and we're going to get Malwarebytes. I may not need to use any of the Kaspersky tools. Okay, we're just going to grab Malwarebytes and we're going to run a scan on that. Okay. And then we're going to download and save the MBAM setup. We're going to open it up. We're going to run it. Open it in English. Next. I accept the agreement. Next. Create desktop icon, install. Something I completely and totally forgot. When you're done, make sure that you get rid of all of the programs that you do not want. When did I download Google Chrome? I do not remember downloading Google Chrome. When did I do this? Maybe that's what Super Any Spyware downloaded. Okay. I'm sorry about that. I do not remember installing Google Chrome at all. Okay. Perform quick scan, perform full scan, perform full scan. It's always best to just go with the full scan. I don't have any files on this system anyway. We're going to go back down. And I'm going to go ahead and pause while that scans, and I'll be back shortly. Okay, now that we've gotten back to the to the scan, let's go ahead and click OK. Let's go show results. Remove selected. And it's going to give us a quick look at this, and we're just going to go ahead and save as to the desktop so that we can have a quick look at that. Urgent, you must restart your computer to remove all threats properly. Okay, while we're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and go down in size, and we're going to go through our checklist. Actually, we're going to go through our checklist once we can verify our checklist. So we do have a checklist. Listen to that. It's been so long since I've heard that. Look at that elegant welcome screen. Truly a masterpiece. I'm biding for time. What's taking it so long? It's been doing it much more quickly than that. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. I think I done goofed. I don't think I got everything that time. So I may need to do Kaspersky after all. Alternatively, we could just go and manually get rid of everything. So, waiting on that, waiting on it. Here we go. Okay, Malwarebytes is starting up. So we have Malwarebytes is the first thing on the machine. Malwarebytes is gonna do whatever it's doing. So let's go ahead and make that a bit smaller, because we don't need that right now. Okay. So I'm gonna go back through. I'm going to pause this for another quick second while we wait for Windows to start back up, and I'll let you know as soon as we get... Okay, well, let's go ahead, and while we're at... I was not able to get back in because Malwarebytes was starting up funky, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and remove search spin, because that's what's causing the weird search related stuff. Remove the toolbar. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and go to Google. And then we're going to close the browser, close tabs, start it back up. And we're still here, so what we're going to do, go to Options, Applications, make sure that there's nothing in there, Privacy, Security, Content, Application, Security Advanced, Network Update Encryption. I forget how Firefox works. General, Homepage, that would that's a pretty good place. http://google.com/ and then we're just going to make sure and test that out. We're going to click on the little home, and Google is our home page. So we're going to put Firefox over here, and we're going to open up Google Chrome so as our default browser. Okay, Google Chrome is fine. So our other problem is now Internet Explorer. And we're just going to open that up. And we're going to go to Tools, Internet Options, Address, http://google.com, and we're going to have it go home. Google is our home page, so Internet Explorer is fine. Okay. We're going to go ahead and delete this icon off of the desktop. Delete shortcut, actually. I'm going to go ahead and right-click on this, Properties. Okay, that's a weird, interesting place for that to be installed. So hopefully, I think it's thinking, hey, if I put it in program files, it's not going to think I'm a virus, right? Optimizer Pro. Does it have an uninstaller? I mean, that'd be weird. You know, I think that it thinks that it's actually helping. Uninstall was successfully removed from your computer. That is really very nice of it. Very nice. Okay. And so, out of all of that, there were a couple of other processes that were starting that I didn't have actual pop-ups on install. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through. I'm actually going to uninstall Malwarebytes, because what Malwarebytes does is it's doing weird stuff on startup. So if I just uninstall it, then it's not going to be able to start up on startup. Okay. And then all we're going to do is restart the computer. Okay, we're going to have it start up normally. If everything starts up normally, we can go through and say, hey, all the traces of this are gone from the computer. And it starts up normally. Normal startup music. Okay. Aside from Battery Cat, but Battery Cat was benign. I downloaded, there's a repository that has all sorts of weird things that people have posted as viruses, and that was one of them. Okay. And we're going to go through. We're going to uninstall everything because we don't want Super Any spyware popping up every single time. And first we're going to get rid of Battery Cat. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Go to Control Panel. Rather not to Control Panel. Yes, to Control Panel. I'm kind of not used to Windows XP. Got to add remove. Then we're going to go to Super Any spyware. Just click remove. Click OK. Click yes. Search bin toolbar. We're going to have it remove the toolbar. Yes. And then, so that stuff is gone. Okay. So then the next thing to do is to go to our checklist. If you have another monitor, you can stick this on your monitor. You can stick the checklist on the laptop. So what are we going to do? So this is our checklist. I'm just going to change to yellow because I like yellow. Okay, removed all traces. Check. Checked operating system for stability. Well, we haven't done that yet, but we can. And then what's our next? Changed browser settings. Yes, we've done that. I've already installed Adblock Plus on Firefox. Uninstall tools. We've done that. Okay, so our next thing is to go ahead and go back in and go to Firefox and go to let's see, I'm not using the official version, or I haven't activated this Microsoft disk yet. It's a Dell Restore disk, so I haven't activated it. So it's going to say, hey, you're using a pirated version of Microsoft, and I'm not, but okay, we're going to stick AVG on here. Remember when you had back in the day, yeah, back when in Windows XP was big. If the software you're trying to download used an image instead of a HTML link, it was usually going to link to like a virus because it was an ad, and you could see the ads by Google there, and Google really done a good job of making sure they're trying to only advertise through with reputable people, but a lot of other advertising people don't, and that's what you end up getting a lot. So ads is Adblock Plus. I cannot stress it enough. It's the most important add-on that I always get out of Adblock Plus. It really is part of my standard installation procedure now. It's just go through, get Adblock Plus. It's the first thing that I do when I'm installing and doing a setup for an operating system. So we're going to go back into our checklist. Installed antivirus. Okay. And we're going to say we perform the updates because I'm getting rid of this virtual machine as soon as I'm done with this. So let's say we install the updates for sake of time. And then in terms of checking for stability, there are a couple of things we can do. We can go to command prompt, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure, of course, if you're not getting internet connection immediately after this, just go to ipconfig. If you're getting a 169, then you have other issues. But this is all because I'm using a virtual machine, and I know I'm already able to connect to the internet, so that's not a big one. Okay, the other things you can do is just, generally use your computer. That's a big one. But also we can go to regedit, hkey class root. You can just go through and, make sure if there are things are supposed to be there. Local machine, go through these. And I'm not going to spend too much time making sure this is stable. And then our next is to check for stability. Okay, once you've got all these things done, if there's anything else like CC clean or something like that you want to run, do it. Just make sure you take your time and do it right. Okay, well, AVG does not want to install for whatever reason, and it's probably because I'm using like the lowest system specs, because I'm capturing this running an FTP server, going to be rendering video, all sorts of other stuff, and I didn't want to bog my system down too much by running this with like more than a gig or so of RAM, so I gave it 512 just to emulate. Maybe grandma's system is back from 2003, and she she thinks it should still be current 10-year-old computer. So maybe it was a brand new and 512 megs of RAM. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and close that. I'm going to save the machine states in case there's anything I need to come back and do, so that when you save states, for a fantastic thing, it'll just come right back here. It's going to save the RAM into the virtual RAM in the current state, virtual CPU in its current state, and I can just pop it right back on in that exact state. So virtual machines are fantastic if you need to do any sort of troubleshooting or testing or... Yeah. Okay. And virtual machines are very, very stable now. And they have made it to where you can use most of your hardware right into your virtual machine without much setup. Okay, so what we've done here, we've followed our checklist. We have, let's see, we discussed our objectives for learning, and let's see, grab a lime color. We've talked about making backups, the importance of doing 2 backups in this process, one before, one after, fixing things, restoring OS stability, delete all restore points. We've talked about this process, so I won't waste too much more of your time. And doing your tune-up. I can't get a straight line. And then I've talked about my recommendation for browser, Chrome because of its stability, Adblock Plus because of its help in and whoever not getting another virus. Talked about antivirus. I prefer Security Essentials when I'm just doing something for someone else because it's free. It says Microsoft on it, and you can say if it doesn't say Microsoft here, then it's not real. Talked about backups and how you can do backups and how you can store them, bring an external hard drive or a flash drive and bring the backed up data. Try not to back up EXEs for obvious reasons. And then super anti-spyware, Kaspersky, Malwarebytes, and C Cleaner. I always want to say CC Cleaner, but it's C Cleaner. C Cleaner. And the tools for diagnosis. So that's that. Then on our next one up, we've talked about the differences of different types of malware. We've talked about viruses, how they attach to a program and how they replicate, rootkits, how they're hard to find and see, etc. Spyware and Trojans, collect information and provide access to your computer. Adware, what it does. And worms, how they're probably the most dangerous of all. Then we went back and we had our overview. What is a virus? We talked about that. What is spyware? Different types of viruses. How to tell if something's actually a virus. Then we talked about shovelware. We talked about the things that will get you a virus. We talked about the removal on Windows XP and actually removed a virus from Windows XP and several bits of spyware. We talked about how to check things in the registry. So, I know it's been a rather long video, and if you've watched this long, I appreciate it a ton. You can show that you appreciate me putting up these videos by liking and subscribing if it helped you at all in your little quest. And I really appreciate all of the support I get on YouTube. So, again, thanks for watching, and it's been another great Mr.Sanemon Tech video. If you have any problems, please let me know. Anything down in the comments. It's free for all. I may be a bit snarky when I respond, but anyway, without keeping you too much longer, thanks for watching and have a nice one.